This entitled mum hates rap music so much she's willing to steal this person's phone simply because they're listening to it in public. What crazy excuse does she come up with to justify her insane behavior? Happy birthday, today's your birthday, and on with the revamped show. In the story is Karen, the entitled mother, EF, entitled father, SK, stupid kid, MMBF, my mum, best friend, VND, very nice driver. So let's just jump into it. It was a hot afternoon and I was just coming back from the beach with a friend. We both enjoyed our day a lot, and coming back home, she started to sleep. We live a little far away and she's always sleepy, so I didn't really mind. I picked my phone and my earbuds, putting my favorite artist to play, and was just there, enjoying the moment. So the bus stops and I see our Karen walking in the bus. She was with her husband/boyfriend and they had a child with them. The kid stared at me for a second and then sat right behind me with his father. I didn't mind, I just raised up the volume and cared about my own life. By the way, I'm very shy, so I don't really talk to people I don't know. I could sense the kid behind me, watching me pick my next music. I was listening to a loop. I, being the shy redditor of all, simply ignored him and kept doing what I was doing.
Hey, you listen to NF?
Yeah, I kinda like.
Me too.
He stayed in silence for a bit, just looking at my phone.
Hey, give me an earbud so I can listen too.
Pardon me?
Come on, give it one at least.
Sorry lad, but that's a no. I laughed and kept listening. The kid seemed to be very ticked, but went back to his seat, so it all seemed to be fine. The bus stopped again and that's when heck started. So apparently, Karen saw the whole scene and was very, very angry at me for some reason. She stood up and went to me.
Excuse me?
Yes, is there something I can do to help?
Well,
rolls eyes for some reason.
My angel wanted your earbuds or whatever that is.
Sorry, but I can't just give it to him.
Not even one? You have two?
Yeah, not even one. They were expensive.
So what? Give it to me.
And then she proceeds to take one out of my ear. Now, being shy like me sucks because I couldn't even say something. I was just there, trying to process what the heck just happened. I looked deep into the kid's soul, watching him picking my earbud and smiling to me. So I just started to plan what I was going to do.
I don't like this song.
Me very ticked. So what?
So change it.
You gotta be freaking kidding me.
Mom, this kid won't change the stupid rap song.
So at this point, she was shouting to the entire bus to hear. Nobody did nothing. Of course, nobody really gave a care. So Karen came, took the earbud from her kid, and listened to the music. Right in the part it says, I guess your definition of violence and mine are something that we look at differently.
Oh my gosh, are you making my child listen to this demonish songs?
So Karen was also shouting, which made my friend wake up. She was still sleepy and wasn't understanding what was going on. What's going on?
This stupid brat is making my baby listen to these atheist hellish musics.
She looked at me and I muttered, she's a bee. Wait, how is the kid listening to the music?
Your friend borrowed his earbud, now my baby's being contaminated.
That's not true.
Be quiet, you stupid atheist.
So at this point my friend was even more confused. I was ashamed and red and everything was terrible. So my hero arrives, the bus driver. He stopped the bus and looked back. Okay, what's going on? Karen tells the same thing over and over. She stole my earbud and now is blaming me for listening to my music. Is this true? Of course not. I point at her. Stop freaking lying. You stole from me. Oh, he's R-ing me. What? Entitled father stands up.
You son of a bee, stay away from my wife.
And guess what? He punched me. That's enough. Out of the bus. You can't do this.
Yeah, we paid for this ride.
Do I have to call the cops? Out right now. So Karen and her family screams at me for a while and finally get out. The kid gave my earbud back and everything seemed fine. I wasn't that hurt. The driver even wanted to call a medic. I thanked him and went back to my seat. My friend said sorry, but for me, it was all okay. I actually turned friends with the driver, and we talk until today. One of life's greatest lessons, if you can avoid public transport, do so at all costs. That's where entitled parents shine. They're like, this is our kingdom, our domain, and we shall rule our peasants. So if you're like, hey, you know what? I want to have a really bad day today. Just go up to a bus, buy a ticket, and wait for the next entitled parent to board because you're gonna be in luck. You're gonna have a bad day right then and there. Okay, this is about my mother's side of the family. There are 2 stories I can think of right now. Context for the stories: me and my family had moved to my maternal grandparents' house to help them in their old age. Now that house has 3 floors. One was bought by someone, one was ours, and the ground floor was my grandparents where my divorced aunt and uncle lived. They were dependent as neither of them wanted to work, so we had to help them out. Now a few years ago, my grandfather died and my aunt would sit in the living room all day and watch TV. Now I had to hang out downstairs because of some issues I don't want to talk about, so I just was on my PC all day, and sometimes talked to my friends or my boyfriend. Even though we lived there, we had basically no personal right over the floor we lived in. Okay, first thing happened with the lazy aunt. So I just hung out with her in the room all day long and would just mind my own business all the time, not talking to her. She was the one who started muttering crap for no reason. Now, I'm a tomboy and it's very clear that I'm not girly from the way I dress and behave. That just triggered her so much. It was a normal day and we were sitting around and stuff. That bat crazy woman suddenly just started calling me stuff like unladylike, uncultured, sick in my mind, ill-mannered, etc. I was like, lady, what the F? So here's how our conversation went after this.
You know, you shouldn't wear those clothes at all. You are fat and it makes you look very bad. You should lose your weight and then you'll look presentable maybe.
Now, I know that wasn't true because I'd been getting compliments all freaking day long. Silence.
You should be more like a girl. Cross your legs. You know this thing you call yourself, a tomboy, is a disease. Get yourself fixed.
Now I was angry AF. It's not a disease, you 18th century hag. It's who I am.
No, listen to your elders. I am correct. You have a disease.
Me knowing this would go nowhere. Yeah, okay. I mean, who the frick calls a personality trait a disease?
You shouldn't talk to boys as well. They'll mistreat you.
Me, for some dumb reason, opens my mouth. Oh, but all I have are male friends. Aunt looks at me with wide eyes and an angry stare.
What?
Oh no.
Do you want to get mistreated by those guys? Keep yourself away from them or else I won't let you get out of this house.
Who the F are you to do that?
I'm family and family protects each other.
Yeah, right. Quiet down and stop disturbing me.
I will tell your mum to break off your friendships with all your boyfriends.
Doesn't mean if I'm with a guy, he's my boyfriend. Now shut up, because you have no right over my life and my social life.
Yes, I do, because your mum is crazy and doesn't know how to raise her daughters. Even your sister is like you, always with boys. Don't come to me when you get mistreated. Fools learn by their own experiences, you know.
Me infuriated. Shut up! You have no right to say all this and no right to call my mother crazy. You are the crazy one.
Shut up! Your parents haven't taught you to respect your elders. Your father killed my father and now he's sending his daughter here to kill me with her disrespect.
This is also my house, not yours, ours. I'm here to see my grandmother. What you gonna do about it? Kick me out? You can't even move me an inch. And as for my dad, if you say another word about him, I will throw this chair at your head, so shut up and leave my family alone. She didn't say anything after, and started mumbling to herself. Also, she didn't bother me again for my ladylikeness, but still insulted my family. It's like she knew the mistake she was making as she was making it, like why am I responding? What am I doing? This is only gonna get worse, and it did. Her aunt is basically a troll. A troll feeds off those sort of emotional reactions of the other person, so it's only bound to happen worse and worse as time goes on. You gotta cut off the food supply and you just don't give that reaction in response. This has been Defense Against Entitled Parents with Voicey. I hope you enjoyed your class today. The backstory. I'm a 29-year-old female and have been confirmed to a wheelchair since I was 17. I'm a quadriplegic and can use a manual wheelchair at home, but use a power wheelchair in public for practical reasons. I have mostly full use of my upper body and partial use of my lower body. I've been mistaken for a paraplegic a few times. This happened about a month ago before the crap hit the fan with Dramatized 19 in my town. I was downtown shopping for supplies for my inevitable self-isolation when I heard a deafening squeal of a child, about 12.
Ooh, that's a cool scooter. How fast does it go?
Thanks, little man. Yeah, it goes pretty fast.
Can I have a go?
Me thinking that he meant to sit on my lap and drive him around, which in any other scenario I would have been happy to do. Sorry dude, but not today. The kid says,
"Oh, okay,"
and stomps away, and I thought it was the end of it. But you know I wouldn't be here if it was. A few minutes later I hear the ground start to tremble as the Megatron Karen approaches. Oh boy, I thought, this is going to be fun.
Excuse me, what did you say to my son?
Me, confused. He wanted a ride in my wheelchair. I said no.
What did you just say to me? You need to respect your elders and not talk down to my poor little angel. You don't even need that wheelchair. I know your legs work. You're just faking it to get attention. Now let my son have a ride.
She wouldn't have been much older than 35, so obviously not my elder. But even if my nan spoke to me like that, I wouldn't reply kindly. Me, all of my patience finally gone. My wheelchair costs more than your car, and you want me to miraculously heal out of my chair so your dirty crotch goblin can take a joyride? Okay, here's where the story gets graphic. I have hypermobility, which makes my joints extremely flexible, and dislocation easy and relatively painless. I also have titanium screws inside my neck that creak loudly when I move a certain way. Bring on the Frankenstein! I leaned forward, pushed down with my right arm, dislocating my shoulder blade with a loud pop. As I twisted my neck to make it creak, then pushed down with my left hand to contort my arm and hand in an unnatural position. This all happened in a few seconds, but it was enough to make Karen, red-faced and horrified, scream out,
"Stop! It's okay! EK, let's go!"
and they hurried out of the store. I could hear laughter coming from behind me as a friend who works there walked up to me and said, "That was mean." He knew me well and had seen me pull that trick before. Needless to say, I never had an issue like that again. It's a small town and news travels fast. Don't mess with the girl in the wheelchair. I don't understand this obsession with entitled parents thinking that they somehow own everybody's wheelchair. And why do they think it's a toy? Like if somebody had the choice of being healed and not needing to be in a wheelchair or needing to always be in a wheelchair, yeah, they're gonna choose to be healed. For that person, it's almost like an extension of them. It's their mobility. It's how they get around. It'd be like saying, "Hey, can I jump on your leg and go for a ride?" Wildly inappropriate. So before I start getting to the actual experience here, I should provide some background information so this hits harder. First of all, I'm a 20-year-old type 1 diabetic since I was 2 years old. I'm also an epileptic since I was about 10. Now, I am also diagnosed with anxiety and depression, which weirdly enough shows the symptoms for my diabetes and epilepsy. Basically, if I'm anxious or depressed, it'll either show up in my blood sugar with spikes or drops, or just have an epileptic seizure despite taking meds. Now, my mother is on a different level of uniqueness. She's been a paraplegic since her 20s, and while she has a service dog to help her with everything, she'll force me awake at like 6 in the morning to help her with literally anything she can think of, even though her dog can do it. I go upstairs probably about 20 times a day, ranging from cleaning to baking. Now, since my diseases, it's not safe for me to have a job, as it actually causes me to have seizures at work. This is important because for the past few months, my mother is either forcing me to take like 4 university classes or get a full-time job. Basically, she's sentencing me to endless seizures, which if I fall the wrong way, I could get brain damage, break my neck or skull, or even kill myself. Today's was the worst. I had a seizure this morning, and when my boyfriend practically revived me, crying from stress, he took me upstairs, explaining that I had a seizure. This is the conversation. I didn't even make it up the stairs before she started ranting at me and blaming me for everything. and saying that because of this seizure, I had to get them under control or she was going to kick me out. Even though I had no money, nor can I work. I also can't get into disability yet because of this whole virus thing. I had to leave because she can't do this anymore. My boyfriend pulled me away downstairs and told her off, but she still ranted. But he ended with, "What the frick? Your son just had a seizure and has hit his head, and you're making it about yourself?" Her response was to F off. Planning on moving out with him to my sister's for a while, but this is my daily life so far. Unfortunately, some people are just dealt a worse hand than others. I mean, you would hope that if someone was in this situation where they had these medical conditions, that at the very least they would have some compassionate people around them to help them through it. The real cherry on top is when you've got an entitled parent that makes it all that much more worse. Submit your story to be read on the channel at VoiceyHereStories@gmail.com and join our Voicey veteran community at r/VoiceyHere. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit that bell to never miss an episode. Alright, Voicey veterans, I'll see you in the next one.